Good morning. It is day 2, Sunday of the $5,300 Prime Social, 2 million guaranteed. We got some breakfast, getting kind of mentally ready. We got about, I think it's a little bit over 200 players left, and it's gonna be a long day. 10-hour grind, 10 to 11 hours of grinding, and we won't even finish today. We'll finish, today's Sunday. We'll play again for another 10 to 11 hours tomorrow, and then Tuesday, our final league will be the last day of this event, and I will be there on Tuesday, so you watch out. So, anyways, we're about to head out. We're gonna start in about 45 minutes from now, and we're gonna go ahead and walk over to the club. So, yeah, we will see you there.
What's up, guys? My name is Kenny Nicoletti, and as of 2022, I quit my job to become a full-time poker player. My goal is to travel from event to event, documenting my journey as I try to make a living out of this career. Watch me punt stacks or bink big cashes. I appreciate you guys following me to tune in into my journey. It's day 2. Our main goal is to just get to day 3. We have about 10 hours to go today, and we're starting off at level 9 with blinds at 1,000, 1,500, 1,500. The very first hand we pick up is ace 8 off from the hijack. It folds to us, and we open for 4,000. We get a call in the small blind and a call in the big blind. We get a flop of queen, jack, 4, rainbow. We get check 2, and we go ahead and check back on this board. I feel like queen or jacks hit the small blind range, so we go ahead and check this one back. The turn comes the 10 of clubs, and it once again checks to me. I consider betting, however, I feel like we're getting trapped. So I decide to check, and then the river comes the 9 of diamonds. We have the low end of the straight. Not loving our hand, however, once it checks to me for the 3rd time, I have to get value. I go ahead and throw a bet of 5,000, and small blind makes the call while big blind folds. We show the winner, and small blind mucks his cards. An amazing way to start our very first hand in this tournament. Stack is now over 200,000. About 15 minutes later, we find a spot with ace 4 of hearts in the small blind. We get a middle position open to 3,500, and the cutoff makes the call. I hate flatting ace 4 of hearts from the small blind here, so I decided to raise this suited ace as a bluff. We make it 11,500, and we get a call from the middle position while the cutoff folds. It's heads up, and we get a flop of 5 of clubs, jack of clubs, and 10 of spades. We have to fire, but not sure on sizing. I want to rep something strong and make it look like I'm charging the flush draws. We fire for 16,000, and we get the fold. Let's go. 230,000 in our stack. Even though we said to take it slow, we end up getting into a dicey spot with pocket queens. We're in the cutoff, first to act, and raise it to 4,000. Then we get a button who 3-bets to 10,000, and a small blind folds. Then we get another re-raise to 20,000 from the big blind. What the fuck? What's going on here? Am I really getting set up with queens here? I genuinely consider folding here. I tank, and I say to myself, I either have to raise all in or fold here, and I do not know what to do. After about 5 minutes of thinking, I end up making the shove, and I get a snap all in from the button and then a snap all in from the big blind. Fuck me. Button shows pocket kings, and big blind shows pocket rockets. Wow, what a setup hand. I should have folded. Hindsight's 20/20, but we should have folded. Big blind has about 75,000 behind, and button has about 40,000 behind. Let's go ahead and see a run out.
Fuck. Will. We need the red king, baby. Ace king. What are you gonna do? Oh, do the same one.
That's crazy.
51.
What just happened here?
Come on, baby.
The people that say only happens on the
In the window. Right. There it is, in the window.
About 20 minutes after losing that big hand with pocket queens, we find a spot with 9-6 of hearts on the cutoff. It folds to us, and we go ahead and open this to 4,000. It then folds to the big blind, and he makes the call. The run out is king of spades, queen of spades, and 7 of spades. Monotone board, he checks to me, and I make a small continuation bet of 3,500. He calls, and the turn is the queen of diamonds. I do not like this card because he has a lot more queens than I do, so we check back this board, and when the river brings the 9 of diamonds, we now have some showdown value. Big blind tanks, and then puts the massive bet of 16,500. It's polarizing. However, I unblock all the flush draws that he may have been calling on the flop with, so he's only saying he has a queen or nothing. I end up thinking for a little bit, then I ultimately make the side call. He quickly flips over queen jack off with no spade. This first level of the day has become a disaster. I've lost nearly 100,000, and I tell myself to calm down, slow down. We've got a lot of play left. About 30 minutes later, we pick up a significant spot with ace-7 of spades. We're on the button, and blinds are 1,000, 2,000, 2,000. We have 175K behind, and cutoff being the first to act opens to 4,000. I put in the 3-bet to 12,000, repping pocket aces. It folds back to cutoff, and he makes the call. The flop comes 6 of spades, 10 of clubs, and 4 of diamonds. It's a dry board. Cutoff checks, and I size down to 7K, trying to continue the story. He makes the call, and the turn is the queen of clubs. Cutoff once again checks, and I'm not going to slow down here. So we size up to 20,000. He quickly makes the fold, and our momentum is starting to come back. A few orbits later, it's still level 10, and we're under the gun with ace jack off. We open to 4,500, and it folds to the cutoff. He makes the call and has about 60K behind. Everyone else folds. Flop comes ace of spades, ace of hearts, 8 of hearts. We have trips. We size down our c-bet to 3,500 and try to target air floats, or maybe an 8. Cutoff makes the call, and I start to think maybe he's on some kind of flush draw. The turn is the 5 of spades, and now with a double flush board, we need to fire. We make it 12,000. Probably could have made it more, but 12,000 still gave us the information we needed when cutoff makes the call again. The river is now the 8 of spades, and I always have the best hand here. Too bad there's no completed flush, but now I'm trying to figure out how to get paid. I doubt he has an 8, and I'm pretty sure he has a missed flush. So I make an exploitative check, and I'm praying he will fire his missed flush draw. He instantly checks back, and now I realize I probably missed value from some pocket 10s or 9 holdings. Fuck. Oh well, it's still an interesting spot. After an entire 90 minutes of nothing but folding and stealing blinds, we finally pick up an interesting spot 30 minutes into level 12. Blinds are 1,500, 3,000, 3,000. It's been nit poker for the last 2 hours, but we have ace, deuce of hearts in the small blind. It folds to the button, and he decides to limp for 3,000. I raise it up to 12,000, and then big blind overcalls while button folds. It's heads up, and the flop is deuce of clubs, deuce of spades, and queen of clubs. Hello, trips. We c-bet for 10,000, and the big blind makes the call. The turn is the king of diamonds, and for some reason, I size up to 40,000. Looking back at it now, this would have been a good card to check. We got a bit greedy, and big blind folds. Also, our camera battery died, and we were not able to pick up the recording. So, this was the only significant spot we had in the last 2 hours. Stack is still at around 175K. Then about 15 minutes later, we pick up king 10 off in the big blind. It's still level 12, and we get a weird limp under the gun. He seems really loose, and it folds to me. We just check this back, and the flop comes ace, king, 6, rainbow. We have middle pair and are going to check call almost all flop bets, So when the under the gun fires for 4,000, we consider raising because of how small it is. But we just end up making the call because we want to keep all his bluffs in. The turn is the 10 of spades, and we check back again with 2 pair. Under the gun fires for 7,000, and we're not going anywhere. We make the call. Let's see a clean river. When the river comes a jack of spades, and now any queen beats us and the backdoor flush comes in, we think he doesn't have a flush because we have the king of spades. However, there's a 4-liner with the queen hitting the straight. So we check back this river and he fires for 18,000. I do pause and I say, fuck me. So we tank a little bit, but I just can't seem to find a fold here. He seems loose, and when I make the call, he shows quickly 4-5 of diamonds, and we scoop a big one. Good try, man. We're up over 200,000.
We're gonna call this a midday little update. We are, we're done with half the day. We still have another half the day. It's probably gonna be a midnight till midnight grind. It's only about 7:30, and we still have a solid 5 hours to go. So we're doing okay. We're almost at 250. We're at 243 K, which is a pretty good stack considering that we ran queens into aces and kings, and we just, I don't know, we just been grinding, not trying to get into super big spots and picking up small chips here and there. And there was a pretty big significant spot with I can't remember. There's just a lot of small pots, honestly. But the biggest pot that I lost today was like an 80K. No, it was like a 220K pot when I had queens, the other guy had kings, and the other guy had aces. That really sucked. So anyways, we're about to go eat something, and then we are gonna go back. We got a 30-minute break. It's just a midday update, so we'll see you later.
After having a nice dinner, we come back to level 13 and start to steal a few pots here and there. We slowly chip up to about 265,000. 30 minutes later, we see Jack 5 of clubs in the big blind. Under the gun open raises to 11K and it folds to me. Heads up, I'm suited, I make the call. The flop comes Jack, 5 of spades, 4 of diamonds. We got 2 pair. Let's go. I check and under the gun now c-bets for 11,000. I'm not going to slow play top 2 here because there can be a lot of dicey turns that I would not care to see. So I raise it up to 25,000 and under the gun quickly calls. The turn is now the 9 of spades. The flush gets there and I'm honestly putting this guy on ace jack, queens, kings, or aces. So I continue to fire and make it 50K. He makes the call and shows a very unhappy vibe to me. When the river is the ace of hearts, I actually decided to check because I can't see what value I'm getting for betting this river. Yes, I could go for thin value, targeting kings or queens, but I feel like these hands can find a fold here. So when I check, under the gun quickly checks back. I show my winner, and he flashes kings and gives me this disgruntled sigh. We pick up a big one. Our stack is now over 300,000. About 20 minutes later, we find a cool spot with 7-9 off in the big blind. We're about 350K deep and the button opens to 8,500. Small blind folds and we make the call. Flop comes 7-8-4 rainbow. We have middle pair and a dream. We check, button checks, and the turn is now an offsuit 4. This hits our range and we bet this turn even if we had nothing. So we fire for 6K. The button tanks and I was so scared he was going to raise. He ends up just making the call, and the river comes another 7. Now we ask ourselves, how do we get paid? Button only has about 30K, and the pot is about 25K. I consider making a small value bet, but my greedy ass goes for the donk shove. We start praying to the poker gods, let's get a call. However, he ultimately makes the fold. Damn, still a nice pot though. About 20 minutes after that, we pick up king in the big blind. Let's go. The blinds are still 2K, 4K, 4K, and the same player that I beat with 7-9 off is first to act with about 29,000 behind. He open shoves 29K, and when small blind folds, I snap call with pocket kings. He shows ace 9 off, and we have a one-legged race. Let's see a run out. Well, shit. And that's not the run out we wanted. Oh well. About 30 minutes after that unlucky king-king spot, it's still over 14, and I have ace 6 off on the big blind. We then have that same button player open shoving 25K now. I see ace 6, and I say to myself, it's payback time. When small blind flat calls, I assume it's weak because he should be isolating mostly here with strong hands. So I take it upon myself to reshove, isolating the button player myself. Small blind only has 125K behind, and he quickly makes a fold. Let's see a run out.
Oh, I think you get 25 something.
500 back. No more action.
Queen 10.
Monkey on your back.
Let's go.
Shit,
Man.
man. He's been killing me every time.
It's king. I remember the king again.
God damn.
Now you could be on the. Now it'll be on your block.
It's in the. It's in there.
It's the monkey outside. There's a vlog out on YouTube.
Huh?
On YouTube.
YouTube.
We win a few more pots on level 14, and as level 15 begins, we get a table change, and we're only 3 away from the money. Let's go. Min cash is nearly 10K, and I've only spent about $800 to get here, so that 10K score looks like a dream. We're folding and playing as tight as we can. Literally 2 hours later, we pick up no significant spot and honestly continue to lose small pot after small pot. It's still the money bubble, and we literally have to fold because our table is full of big stacks and aggressive players. After 30 more minutes of getting tired of people's shit, we're on the stone bubble, and I pick up ace 10 off in the small blind. The undergun player, who's literally opened any 2, makes it 11,000, and cutoff makes the call. I say fuck this, and I'm tired of getting bullied, so I make it 65,000. Both of them snap fold, and we win the final significant pot of the night. After getting bullied for a few more orbits, just waiting for the last person to bust, we slowly chip down to 359,000 before we hear, "Congrats, you guys are all in the money. Let's go. It's time to bag, and we're now going to a day 3.